Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 1 in season number 26. That is the 26th book of the New Testament. It's a short book. It's 3rd John, the third letter of John the Apostle. He's writing to a person named Gaius. And in the story, in the one-page, 15-verse chapter, there's 3 big characters. There's a missionary, and that person is named. They're people that have gone out for the sake of the name, but are actually unnamed in the story. And they're wonderful and worthy people. Then there's people that support them. That's led by a man named Gaius, and he's the featured person in the letter. And he supports them and works for them. And then there's this bad guy who is the anti-missionary, and his name is Diotrephes, and he is kind of the antithesis of what you're supposed to be doing. So listen in here, listen for those 3 characters, if you will. The first one is going to be the missional person, Gaius. Verse 1, to the elder, to the beloved Gaius, whom I love in truth. So he's the missional guy. Beloved, I pray that all may go well with you, and that you may be in good health, as it goes well with your soul. For I rejoiced greatly when the brothers came and testified to your truth, and indeed you are walking in the truth. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in the truth. Beloved, still referring to Gaius, the missional guy, it's a faithful thing you do in all your efforts for these brothers. And he's referring to the actual missionaries. Beloved, it's a faithful thing you do in all your efforts for these brothers, strangers as they are, who testify to your love before the church. You will do well to send them on their journey in a manner worthy of God. Send the true missionaries on their journey in a manner worthy of God. Verse 7, for they have gone out for the sake of the name, accepting nothing from the Gentiles. Verse 8, therefore we ought to support people like these, that we may be fellow workers for the truth. And then now he's going to get to the bad guy. Verse 9, for I have written something to the church, but Diotrephes, who likes to put himself first, does not acknowledge our authority. So if I come, I will bring up what he's doing, talking wicked nonsense against us, and not content with that, he refuses to welcome the brothers and also stops those who want to and puts them out of the church. All right, so 3 groups of people here today. The choices of the title for today is a call to missions and missionals. And so Gaius is the good example of a guy who is being missional. Now he introduces him, he calls himself the elder John, writing to the beloved Gaius, and he is a loved person. He prays that he have spiritual health because it pairs well with physical health. He prays for both of them. And he calls him my spiritual child. So this is a spiritual child who's walking in the truth. So having spiritual family, having spiritual elders and peers and juniors, we should be thinking about that in the church. Have someone older, more mature than you, someone who's your peer, and also have spiritual children, which are a person you have a hand in bringing to faith, or you have a hand in bringing the faith up in teaching and encouraging. So the principle is you can enlist spiritual joy in one person as it grows because of spiritual growth in another. So spiritual joy in one person can grow because of spiritual growth in another. So spiritual joy grows in one because of the growth of joy in another. All right, so this is the letter is really a call to either missions or a call to be missional, one of the two. In verse 5, it says it is an effort. So there is some work and labor and effort to bring this about. And this example is Gaius. All right. Then let's talk about the missionaries. And these are people who are a bit strangers, but they're still called brothers. And they're people that have gone out for the sake of the name, and they should be people that are enjoying the love and the efforts of the church, and they should be enjoying a manner worthy of God by the church. It reminds me of the passage in Titus 3:3, where it says, do your best to speed Zenas the a lawyer and Apollos on their way and see that they lack nothing. So it's kind of like, how can we speed these guys on their way? See to it that they lack nothing, and that means like diligently and earnestly apply ourselves with zeal and hurry towards this. And let the people of God treat the sent of God in a manner worthy of God. Write that down. Let the people of God treat the sent of God in a manner worthy of God. So it's interesting here in all these three groups, you can't understand one group of people without understanding the other. So finally, then, let's talk about Diotrephes. And he's a so-called brother who likes to put himself first. So that's strike one. He's acting like and will be treated like a stranger to the church. So he's not acting in love. He's not demonstrating faith by action, which is what the book 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John is all about. He refuses to welcome the brothers, and by this failure, he refuses to take in the true brothers, and he's actually putting the true brothers out of the church. So he's not following the truth. He's talking wickedness. He's not following the commands of love and fellowship and honoring evangelists, honoring the missionaries. He's not coming under authority. He's not welcoming the missionaries. And remember, there's a special judgment for church leaders who get this wrong. 1 Timothy 5:20. As for those elders who persist in sin, rebuke them in the presence of all, so that the rest may stand in fear. So Diotrephes is a good example of being an anti-missionary. Okay, so don't be rebellious of your heart. Don't be rebellious of your tongue. Don't be rebellious of your wallet and oppose support for these people. So the call here is to be a missionary, not to be an anti-missionary, or to be missional. A missionary is one who goes out for the sake of the name. A missional person like Gaius is a person who walks with the Lord and then demonstrates it in love by speeding these people on their way, by support of their fellow workers, being called a fellow worker, being a partner in the efforts. All right, so today, obviously, don't be the anti-missionary, and your two good choices are either be a missionary, go out for the sake of the name, or be missional and support and make that person a fellow worker and partner in effort. Thanks for listening.